Good afternoon. This is the first major international loan exhibition devoted to the late paintings and drawings of Raphael. In 1983, for the 500th anniversary of the birth of Raphael, a series of exhibitions were mounted around the world, but all of these were nation or collection based. And as a result, there was no scope for comparison of works which are now very widely dispersed, as will become clear as I go through some of the exhibits. In the intervening years, there have been several important exhibitions. In London in 2004, in Rome in 2006, and in Urbino in 2009. But all of these have concentrated on the period before Rome, or up until the death of Pope Julius II in February 1513. Instead, in this exhibition, we have focused on the period from 1513 to 1520 during the pontificate of Leo X, extending that time period to about 1524, in order to examine what his closest assistants and pupils did on their own account immediately after his death and before they joined a wider diaspora to Mantua and onwards in Italy to Naples in the case of Gianfrancesco Penni. This period from 1513 to 1524 is an understudied and frequently misunderstood period of Raphael's activity. And our aim has been to re-evaluate and rehabilitate these very important pictures. My first image is one of the last pictures that you'll encounter in the exhibition, but it introduces the principal protagonists. On your left, Raphael, age 36 and shortly before his death. In the foreground, a younger, bearded man, identifiable as Raphael's most important pupil, Giulio Romano. There are many ways to interpret this picture. Perhaps the older artist restraining the impetuous character of the younger, or the younger man showing something to his master, even as a symbolic passing of the mantle, and so as Raphael's artistic testament. But the crucial aspect here is that Raphael was not a solitary genius, and this exhibition studies the role of his workshop in the paintings produced in the last years of his life, and immediately following his death. As a result, Giulio Romano and Gianfrancesco Penni are strongly represented. As we've already heard, this exhibition has been realized as a remarkable joint project between the Prado and the Louvre. And this pairing of images on the screen here, the Perla on the left and the Holy Family of François Premier on the right, is emblematic of this collaboration. Between them, these two great collections contribute 19 out of a total of 47 paintings, and almost all of them are to be shown in both venues, so providing a nucleus of the artist's late work which will never be equalled again. It is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to bring together, as I've said, the Perla and the Holy Family of François Premier. Again, as we've heard, this project developed over many years, and it has been preceded by technical conferences in Paris and Madrid, and by a programme of work undertaken by teams in both museums and by the two curators, myself and Paul Joannides. Confronted with a project of this nature, the generosity of other lenders has been outstanding, and paintings have been lent from 23 collections in 8 countries, and drawings lent from a further 17 collections in 10 countries. These paintings could be lent because they were always designed to be portable. This might seem an obvious statement, but it is a crucial distinction. One of the reasons why Raphael developed such a sophisticated workshop practice was that he was so much in demand during the last years of his life. In addition to his acclaimed work in fresco in the Vatican Stanze and other locations in Rome, he was active as a designer of tapestries for the Sistine Chapel, as an architect, as a designer of prints, as an archaeologist, and in the field of aesthetics. But he was first and foremost a painter, and he never renounced this. His frescoes are sometimes seen as the apogee of his achievement, but the resulting neglect of his paintings on panel and canvas would have puzzled Raphael. These pictures were at least as important to him, and one should comment on their relative neglect. It is in part a result of their previous fame and the fame of the artist, which has resulted in their very wide dispersal around the world. The same fame also resulted in repeated cleanings and, in some cases, transfers from their original support onto a new canvas support. And these have frequently left the pictures in a compromised condition. By gathering so many of his paintings in this exhibition, a visitor will be able to better appreciate what Raphael was trying to do in these paintings. And to enhance this experience, the exhibition has been organised thematically. It starts with a large cruciform gallery devoted to Raphael's altarpieces. These include the Santa Cecilia on the left here, which has never previously been lent to an exhibition, and I would echo Miguel Zugasa's comment on the extreme generosity of the Soprintendente of Bologna at such a difficult time for their city. Like all of the altarpieces that Raphael painted in this period, this was a picture always intended for export from Rome to Bologna, where it has remained for most, but not all, of its history. Altarpieces are concentrated in the first room, but one, apparently commissioned from Raphael towards the end of his life and subsequently executed by Giulio Romano, is represented in a later room with this astonishing full-size cartoon of the stoning of St. Stephen. In between these fixed points are 2 sections devoted to paintings of the Madonna and Child, or of Holy Families, both large and small. Sorry. In some of these smaller works, we see for the first time the independent roles of Giulio Romano and Gianfrancesco Penni. The final section of the exhibition concentrates on Raphael's portraits. Here too, a clear distinction can be made between Raphael's personal involvement in pictures of friends, such as Bindo Altoviti, seen here on the left, and Baldassare Castiglione, seen on the right, and formal commissioned pictures of powerful patrons, where Raphael seems to have taken a lesser interest, despite the very great importance of the sitters he was asked to paint. In a few moments, I will conclude this presentation of El Ultimo Raphael by handing over to Professor Paul Joannides. But before doing so, I should explain that the selection and arrangement of works, and subsequently our work on the exhibition catalogue, has been an intensely productive and enjoyable collaboration. And the result is a catalogue which is co-signed throughout and has a rare degree of agreement and consensus, which we hope you will find convincing. Our work has been enthusiastically and generously supported by Miguel Zugasa, Gabriele Finaldi, Miguel Falomia, Vincent Pomered, Vincent Deluva, Ana Gonzalez, and Bruno Motta, and by many others in both the Prado and the Louvre. And I'm sure Paul would join me in thanking them for making this magnificent exhibition possible and entrusting us with its guidance. Thank you, Paul.